Good morning, everyone, from the seat of a 2022 CT 125. We're taking the CT 125 and going on a little, a little adventure to some the flea market, some antique stores. I don't care at this point if it's vintage or new or what it is. That's the thing about going to the flea markets and things like that. You don't know what you're going to find. It could be something new, could be something old. Just depends. We're on the CT because, quite frankly, I need tires on the Blue Monkey, and the Red Monkey has a knobby off-road tire that roars like a miniature lion the entire time you're riding. We have a full tank of gas, 9 horsepower, a fogged up lens, and we're ready. And we have motivation. So yes, we need some tires. We need some tires for the monkeys. Those of you who ride monkeys will know what I'm talking about when it comes to the tire thing. For some crazy reason, the size tire that Honda put on the Monkey is extremely hard to find outside of the tire that actually comes on it. The size is awkward in any other tread pattern other than the tire that came on that Monkey. And to be honest, that's kind of annoying. So I put the knobby tires, Kenda Big Blocks, they call them, on the Red Monkey. More off-road definitely because it's a knobby tire, but have mercy on pavement. Whew. That thing just roars. I mean, it actually roars to a point that it vibrates the whole bike and the helmet and everything else. So I will definitely be looking for the Blue Monkey needs tires. That's the actual tires that came on the bike. There's right at 5,000 miles on those tires. The center of the rear tire is beginning to bald and get thin, and they are starting to crack in the treads, in the grooves. Lots of people here today, lots of people. Seeing a few fishing poles already. Morning. Morning. How you?
It's chilly this morning, huh?
Yes, it is. Well, I'm glad I brought 2 jackets, I'll tell you that. Is this your truck? I love them little things. What was that, 95? 4? All right, we are officially leaving. We found a reel. It's actually kind of strange because that's twice I've been to the flea market, and 2 times I have found a Johnson reel. Anyway, yeah, we got that. So $10 is good, but you know I wasn't going to leave a Johnson Citation laying behind if I could keep from it. Frozen, so I don't want to mess anything up. The cap is okay. Gears, I have no idea what kind of shape the gearing is in, but we'll check that when we get it apart. I am getting hungry though. Okay, we are back here at the house after many miles. We started out with 25 miles on the bike and we are down to, I think it was 113 miles when I pulled into the driveway. So, you do the math. I'm not doing it because my head already hurts and my butt. Seat on that thing, I'm good for about 100 miles. Monkey is so much more comfortable to ride. let's just get off of that. Anyway, get off our butts. That second stop I made at Fishing Protect, 3 reels in there that I'm very interested in, and hopefully Tuesday I'll be able to talk to that guy and see what we can come up with on a price on maybe selling those 3 to me if he will, even if he will, so I don't know. Now this thing has been on a rod. It's got all the typical scars. It doesn't move. She's grease locked. Button does work. Looks like the drag button there, the screw is crooked. Hopefully, if there's parts needed, I will have them. Anyway, let's get you guys down to the table, get this wire tag thing off of here, and get this thing tore apart. Yeah, at first he wanted $28 for it, and it was locked up. And I said, man, I can't do that. He said, well, 25. And I said, well, it's locked up. It's what? I said, it's locked up. And he said, what do you mean? I said, she's grease locked. I said, she don't want to move. So once he seen that, he went ahead and came down. He said, all right, man, give me 10 bucks and take it on with you. And I said, okay. So I'm going to show it to you. As you can see, plenty of dirt in there underneath of the button, and just dirt in general. And you might be able to see that that screw is crooked going into the drag button there. Hopefully we'll be able to take care of that. But you know, it's been a while since we've actually had a citation on the channel. So let's commence. Okay, Cap. Work with me. Yes! I didn't try any of this at the actual flea market. So we got a cap coming off there. And that's not broken. Yay! The wing nut is not cracked. It's good because I don't have any left that aren't. That's moving like it, you know, should. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Are we going to have a hairpin under there or what? No, we have a copper doodah. Copper C-clamp thing. Inside our rotor we have the, what I like to say, leaf spring style. Oh yay! It moves. I was worried. It makes you feel good when you see that that's not frozen down inside the body of the thing. But there is a lot of corrosion in there. Slide that out of there. We don't appear to have any broken brake shoes here. That's actually coming off. That's a plus. A lot of times you have to pry those guys off there. Doesn't look like our clicker has got a hole in it, so it hasn't been overworked. That's lifting fairly easy to be as nasty as it is. Still takes the screwdriver though to pry it up there. So we'll go ahead and get these screws out here. Okay. All right, they both came loose. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take that nut off and take the crank off of there. This is actually coming apart pretty darn easy. I'm very, very surprised. Okay, we are going to need a crank arm. Hole in the crank arm is round. Totally round. And I don't know if I might have a crank arm. We're going to have to check and see. Oh no, I didn't pay any attention to that either. Yep, that hole's totally round too in the rotor. I have to check my spare parts because right now as it stands we have 2 parts that are not going to work. I'm very curious as to seeing what the gears look like. Alright, let's lay this down. We got the open gearing. What is that? We've got a piece of plastic from somewhere. I don't know what that plastic is from. We're going to have to keep that there and figure out where that came from. Honestly, I don't know where that plastic is from. That gear doesn't look terrible. So we'll hold on to that. Let's go ahead and... This is what the problem with the reel was. This is why the crank arm is rounded off. People have been trying to turn this and that is totally locked. So they have totally destroyed the crank arm trying to turn this thing. Okay, this is brass, this is steel, softer, okay? So you can play this game. It's trying to get me enough to hold on to here so I can pull it out of there. My goodness. What we're going to do is take that to the sink and get that as hot as we can get it. And I'm trying to finish pulling that out of there. All right, let's take a look at getting this other side off. Nameplate came out and it's not bad shape. That's actually pretty good shape. All right, button, come on out of there. Let me see what you're showing me. I don't see any broken plastic on that. So where this piece of random plastic came from, I don't know. But that is just a piece of random plastic inside the reel. Very strange. This is not wanting to spring up. It's very warped, I can tell you that. This thing's warped. I'm gonna have to see if I've got another one. Yeah, it's broken. This one is in foul shape, my friends, foul shape. That's really not leaning at all, none. So we need to see if I have another one of those that we can put in there that actually has a bend in it. We're going to be going through the spare parts today, my friends. Because this guy's in bad shape. Bad shape. Body doesn't look too terribly bad. We can probably clean that up pretty good. Spool looks terrible. We need to make a list, to be honest with you, of all the parts we need. A crank arm. We need a rotor. We need the drag assembly. So let me grab my spare parts. Just going to leave the camera rolling. Let's see what we can find. I know I actually have some spare parts for a... Oh! We got drag gears here. What do we got here? We've got springs. So we're going to get this thing put back together as close to back together as I can, because I don't have a rotor, and that rotor is destroyed. We're going to go do some cleaning. I'm going to get some parts out that we need, and we'll go from there. Okay, welcome to the mess. Things went from bad to south to worse, to north and then back to south again, and then they went east, west, and a few other places. I got parts bags laying everywhere. I tried to find parts, and it just wasn't working. This reel was not treated very nicely. So I got a lot of pieces here. Parts, bags, things. I think I've already said that. This is it in kind of the nutshell, really. I kind of got it back together. Yes, there's oil everywhere, but this crank arm is absolute garbage. It is a complete circle. It is no good. The drag knob is just barely working. It's not really knob shaped anymore, or it's not really nut shaped anymore like the screw should be on the inside. Somebody just twisted the snot out of that and messed it all up. This rotor is not any good. It's a complete round circle on top. I just got it down tight where I could use it. It actually is not growling much. The shaft, I had to take the drive shaft with the pinion gear, flip the pinion gear over because it was worn on the bottom side, put the good side down, and get another shaft because the threads that were on the top of the shaft here for this nut were also bent and crooked. So it was in terrible shape. This was not treated well. However, I mean, physically, to look at it visually, I should say, it's not bad. Everything's working. But I got with Gary Barber, and more parts are coming. We're going to get a new crank arm. We're going to get a new rotor, drag knob, and what else was it? Crank arm. We're getting a new crank arm. Did I say that? I can't remember. Anyway, crank arm, rotor, drag knob, and crank gear. That's what I was going for, crank gear. So at this point, I do have two caps. The one that came on, it has the slots in it. I kind of like those. I haven't cleaned that up yet. I will clean this up and see how it looks compared to this one. I had another one from way back, and we'll keep that there just in case. But we will clean this up and see how it ends up looking. I'll put that right there. But all in all, this didn't come out bad. It just needs some things. I mean, it's a usable reel, or will be. Right now, the crank arm would just spin if anything was on it, and so would this rotor. that's the major problems. So 10 bucks, and then I'm going to have some money in parts to make it work again. Also, I think, I don't know if I showed y'all, the faceplate for the numbers, for the drag numbers, was busted in half. I don't like to see the citations not go back together again. I don't believe there was as many of those made as there were centuries. So when you find a citation and it's decent enough and the frame's in good shape and you can put it back together again, I always try to. So for right now, we're just going to drop off here. The next thing you see will most likely be me popping back on here saying the parts have arrived. And we'll finish putting this reel together and maybe get lucky and go do some fishing. So for right now, cut. That's a wrap. I'm gonna stop because I am hungry. It's been a long day. A butt hurts sitting on this metal thing. None of that rhymed.